All right, so this is day 9, multiplying polynomials. This is going to take some of the stuff you guys did on day 8, but also add in a little bit more so you can kind of recognize how to handle different problems, okay? So again, do these straight in your packet. I'm doing this in the notebook just because I don't have my packet on me, be honest. But these problems are the exact same ones that are in your packet, so make sure you're doing the notes there. Also, make sure you guys get yourself some highlighters, grab those real quick, pause the video, follow along. Keep some color. Color is good for your brain, helps you remember things. All right. So first one. Okay, so what we're trying to do is we want to recognize the difference between when we're adding, subtracting, and multiplying. Because if you notice these 3 problems, which are the same first 3 in their packet there at the top, they all are pretty much the same. The only difference is what is in the middle. All right. So I want you to see that first. Here you have add, right? Here, or addition. Here you have subtract. And then here you have nothing in the middle. All right, so that means that there's nothing in the middle. We are multiplying. All right. Okay. Now, when we add and subtract, the whole idea here is that we are going to combine like terms. Okay. So anytime you see add or subtract, we're going to add or subtract. Okay. So for adding, if you see plus in the middle, well, we don't really need these parentheses. So what I'm going to do is just get rid of them. Rewrite this without the parentheses. All right, so now all we're going to do is add up the like terms. Well, 10x and 2x go together. Okay, that's going to give me, sorry about that. That's going to give me 12x. And then I add up negative 3 and positive 1. That's going to be minus 2. Okay, so there it is right there. All right, same thing here, except the only difference with this one is that we have a negative. And it's a negative in front of parentheses. Now, when you have a number in front of parentheses, because technically there is a number here, we just can't see it. It's actually a 1, okay? And remember, when you have a number touching parentheses, what does that mean? We multiply, right? So if I multiply to positive 1, does that change anything? No. So it ends up being the same thing. If I multiply a negative 1, does that change anything? Yes, it does. So what you're going to be doing is distributing that negative to whatever's inside the parentheses first. Okay, so here I'm going to just rewrite the 10x minus 3 because the negative 1 is not over those 2 numbers. It's in front of these 2 numbers. All right, so now it's negative 1 times 2x is minus 2x, and the negative 1 times positive 1 is minus 1. And now we do the exact same thing, combine like terms. 10x, 2x, minus 2x this time, so that's actually going to be 8x. Okay, and then negative 3 and minus 1, that's going to be negative 4. Okay, getting the idea here? Now, in this one, because there's nothing in the middle and you have 2 parentheses that are touching each other, we are going to multiply. And this is just like day 8, where we are going to use the box. And if you guys notice, I've got 2 numbers here and 2 numbers here, which means I'm going to make a 2 by 2 box. Okay, I'm going to take these 2 numbers here, put them on the side. These 2 numbers here go on the top. And we're going to multiply. Okay, so 10x times 2x, that's going to be 20x squared. Okay, 2x times negative 3, that's minus 6x. And 10x times 1 is 10x. And let's see, negative 3 times 1, that gives me this one, so that'll be minus 3. And again, going back to this one, the reason that's x squared is, well, first of all, when you multiply two terms and they both have numbers and both have x, first you're multiplying the numbers, 2 times 10, and then x times x is x squared. Okay, now we write it out. First, the x squared term, then combine like terms in the middle. So 10x minus 6 or negative 6 plus 10, that will be positive 4x. And then the last term, minus 3. Okay? All right, so the next problems are similar in that they're all the same numbers again, right? 8x, 11 minus 6x. Okay, again, that next row of problems there in your packet. All right, so the only difference is what's in the middle. Here we have plus again, minus, and then there's nothing, so that means we have times right there. All right, so here, first, again, if it's just plus, like I told you, just you can copy it again without the parentheses, and we're going to combine like terms. So 8x, 6x, that's going to be 8x minus 6x is 2x. And then the only number without x is 11, so we just write 11 over here, or plus 11. Okay, so 2x plus 11. All right, so now this one, remember, if you have a negative in front of parentheses, that means I have to distribute that negative to each number. All right, so this doesn't change because it only changes everything after the negative. Okay, so negative 1 times 11, that's going to be minus 11. Okay, then negative 1 times negative 6, that will be a positive 6x. And again, just like before, combine like terms. Okay, now it's 8x plus 6 this time, or 6x, so that'll be 14x. And then the 11's by itself, so it's just minus 11. All right, so now in this one, it is just multiply. Now the previous one, we had two numbers times two numbers. This one is just one number times two. So you can do this a couple ways. We can set up a box, a 1 by 2, because it's just one number by two numbers. So we go 1 by 2, and we put the 8x here. And then we put the 11 there, and the minus 6x here. And don't forget to write those signs. Okay, so now it's 8 times 11, which is 88 times x. And then 8 times negative 6 is negative 48. And then x times x is x squared. All right, so what I'm going to actually do here is I'm going to write this in standard form. And remember, if from the last packet, I remember told you standard form means you write the highest exponent first. Okay, so what I'm going to do is negative 48 x squared. And remember, these are not like terms. I do not add or subtract these because this one has a square and this does not have that square, not the same exponent. And this 88 is positive, so I'm going to write plus 88x. Okay. All right, so let's go down to the next set of problems here, and you'll notice that all of these are multiply. So you're not doing add, subtract, or multiply. It's just multiply for these last ones. So we're going to set up the box for all of these. Okay, so now for these, again, I've got the same problems written in my notebook that you guys have in your packet. Okay, so for this guy, we're gonna have 1 by 2, so a 1 by 2 box. And it's really helpful to use this box because it helps kind of eliminate mistakes that people commonly make here. All right, so just again, what's important is write those signs. If you see a negative, write the negative. A lot of you guys forget those negatives. Okay, then write these two numbers on top. 2x to the fourth. Don't forget the exponents as well. Don't forget the signs. Be careful, take your time. Okay, start with the big numbers first. So negative 9 times 2, negative 18. Then x to the fifth times x to the fourth. Remember, when we multiply x's, we add up the exponents. So x to the ninth. Okay, so here we have negative 9 times negative 8. That's going to be positive 72 because we have a negative times a negative. And then x to the fifth times x to the, well, nothing, right? And nothing means there's a 1. So really, it's 5 plus 1, x to the sixth. All right, so now which one has the bigger exponent? This one does. Even though this number is bigger, we go by the order of the exponent. Okay, so exponent there is bigger, so we go negative 18, x to the ninth. This is positive, so we're going to put plus 72, x to the sixth. Okay, all right, so now this one, and again, guys, when it's just one number in the front, you guys might already know that you can just go distribute, multiply that times that, and then that times that. Or you can set up the box. Again, the box just helps eliminate mistakes. I want you to know how to do both ways. All right, so now this one is 1 times 1, 2, 3. So this is a 1 by 3 box. Again, you got to create your own box here. All right, the single number goes in the front. The three numbers go on top. 4x squared minus 5x minus 2. All right, so first start with the big numbers. 3 times 4, 12. X times x squared, well, that's 3x's total, because 1x here, 2 there. 3 times negative 5 here, that's negative 15. Probably need a little bit more room there. Okay. X times x, that's just x squared. And then 3x times negative 2, that will be negative 6x. None of these are like terms. That's the biggest exponent. So that one goes first. Minus 15x squared minus 6. Okay, next one. Okay, again, we want to set up our box. 1, 2 by 1, 2. So it's a 2 by 2 box. 2 by 2. Now this one you can't just do, this number times this number and this time this times this number. You're actually going to end up multiplying 4 different times. So that's why we set up the box. There's something called foiling, which if you look it up or Google, FOIL is another way to do this. And your parents or friends might help you and say, hey, just do it this way, FOIL. That's totally fine. But I want you to know how to use the box because we're going to use the box for more than just multiplying in the future. We're going to be doing something called factoring. All right, so here we go. X times X, 4 times X, and then X times negative 5 is negative 5X. 4 times negative 5 is negative 20. All right, and again, just like before, we have like terms right there, but we start with our highest exponent. So we go x squared. Now this is 4 minus 5. So that's going to be negative 1x, or just negative x, and then minus 20. Okay, so I'm going to set up the box again. Again, this is a 2 numbers by 2, right? I'm going to set up the box. The box will be the same. However, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put this 4x minus 7 here, and then I'm going to put the 4x plus 7 down here. The only reason I'm doing this is just because sometimes you'll see this written out in your packets or in the test, and it'll be down here. But I mean, I prefer to put it on top. I don't know, it just works better for my brain when I put it up here. Some people say they like it on the bottom, so either top or bottom doesn't matter. Okay, so this one is going to be 4x times 4x, which is 16x squared. 4 times 4, x times x. Negative 7 times 4x, that's negative 28x. This one is 7, positive 7 times negative 7. Well, that's negative 49. And then 4x times 7 is positive 28. All right, so again, we've got some like terms in the middle. Okay, we'll start with our highest exponent, which is 16x squared. And now I want you to notice that this is negative 28 plus 28, or 28 minus 28, which is 0. So that won't be written there. So I don't need to include that. That will actually cancel itself out. Okay, so then I just have minus 49. Okay, also, if you guys know your squares, these two numbers are perfect squares, by the way, if you know your perfect squares, because 4 times 4 is 16, 7 times 7 is 49. Those are called perfect squares. So anyways, just a side note for future stuff. All right, so here we got another 2 by 2. So I'm going to go through this pretty quick on this one. Here we're going to put 2x minus 9. I'm going to put the 3x and minus 1 on the bottom, only because I ran out of room, to be honest. Okay, so 2x times 3x, 6x squared. Negative 9 times 3x, negative 27x. 2x times negative 1 minus 2x. And again, if I'm making mistakes as I go, just let me know and I'll correct it or put some kind of like subtitle in the video. All right, so these should be positive 9 because negative times negative there. Okay, then again, in the middle, we have our like terms. Okay, so first start with your highest exponent. Negative 29, negative 2x, that'd be negative 29x, and then plus 9. Circle that up. Boom, done. Okay, and again, if it's asking you for the area, this part is your area. And if it asks you for the polynomial, whatever you started with, that is your polynomial. Okay, technically this is also a polynomial, but just for the sake of knowing how to answer the question, the part that you come up with here in the box is your area, and the part that you start off with that you set up on the box is your polynomial. Okay, lastly, again, remember that you have this little square here. This means that you repeat this twice, you expand it out, just like we did on day 8. So x plus 6 times x plus 6. So x plus 6, x plus 6 again. All right, so now we're going to have x times x, x squared, 6 times x, 6x, and it's the same thing here. And then 6 times 6 is 36. Okay, again, start with your x squared. Combine like terms, 6x plus 6x is 12x. And then positive 36, so we put plus 36. All right, and that is it. Okay, make sure you guys complete the next page, which is your homework. Okay, it's a little bit of more of the multiplying, and then here at the bottom, a little review on making equations.